be honest, I have never before in my life seen a show like Hoops before. Hoops does something incredible. It forgets how to make a joke. Nearly at every turn. There are maybe 5 laughs in this entire show. Everything else boils down to vulgar, lowest hanging fruit comedy. Penis joke, dick jokes, genitalia jokes of all sorts, all inclusive with all genders. And it's just yelling and screaming these jokes at you for 10 episodes. It's terrible. It's one of the most unfunny shows I've seen in a long time. The glimmers of hope it has, they're pretty funny. Those are funny little instances. And Ben Hoffman, the creator of the show, he worked as a writer on Archer and New Girl. He's a funny guy, for sure. But being on Netflix, I think, hurt this show because it gave it a lot of freedom. They're able to do a lot of stuff they're not able to do on network TV. They're allowed to use a lot more vulgar language and use a lot more suggestive things, some more risque stuff, some more edgy jokes. Except they didn't write any jokes. They maybe wrote 5, like I said. Everything else is yelling and screaming and cursing. That's the entire show. The story is really simple. It's a high school basketball coach that wants to make it to the big times and be a pro coach. But he has to start small with his terrible team in Kentucky. He finds a 7-foot kid and hopefully can start winning that way. His dad doesn't like him and is disappointed in him. But then they get on a good foot and then they're on a bad foot again. It makes no sense, but we'll keep moving. This show puts comedy first, which can work 100%. If the story's going underneath, that's fine. The story in the show is so simple that it's easy to just run underneath, no matter what the premise of the episode is. But the humor is so bad and so unfunny that it feels like a chore to watch. It feels like you're just sitting there waiting for the show to make you laugh. It feels like it's doing its job wrong. I don't know how else to describe it, but it feels like they don't know how to tell a joke. Hoops does not work as a comedy. It barely works as a show at times because it decided to put comedy first and was so unfunny that there really isn't anything else to grab onto. If you want a good story-driven show, watch any other adult animated show. I can assure you there's a better story out there. I would say Paradise PD, a show that I'm not a huge fan of, has a better story than this show. Hoops makes constant mistakes in its humor. And on top of all of that, there is no character development. No characters are changing throughout the entirety of the show. The main character, Coach Ben Hopkins, is unlikable. He's angry, he's mean, and you would like to see him progress as a character. You'd like to see him slowly but surely becoming nicer. There's an episode where that happens, where he starts to get some control over his anger, and then he just snaps out of it right away, like, oh no, this is the funny way to be, yelling and screaming, that's the way I am, and that's okay. No, it's not. It'd be okay if it was funny. It'd be okay if it served the story in any way. But it doesn't. It serves the story once, and it's an uninteresting story. And at least you could laugh, right? But no, it's not funny. I can't believe this happened. I thought it would happen at some point. I knew it was going to happen because shows that get put on streaming services have a lot of freedom. And because of this, they can do a lot of different stuff. I knew there was going to be a point where they just didn't want to write anything anymore and got so lazy that they decided that they would just substitute comedy for yelling and screaming and cursing and making jokes about penises. I won't even say jokes about penises. Talking about penises. Suck all 8 of my dicks. There you are. That's a joke. That's a joke in Hoops. That's one of them. That's just one I just thought of right now. Suck my ass. You ass. There's another one. That could be in the show. I don't know if that's actually in the show. The 8 dicks thing I think is. Maybe it was 9 dicks. Who cares? It's not funny. I wrote down that the show is like a car crash, but not in the way that like it's, oh, you're looking at it and it's so terrible you just can't look away. It's a car crash in the way that it crashes away from everybody where no one should see it, and it's just constantly burning and exploding over and over again in like a time loop. It's that bad. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I'd give it a 3 out of 10. The show is terrible. It fell into a hole that I feel like was bound to happen. At some point, some show was going to have so much freedom on a streaming service that it would get lazy to the point where it didn't even have jokes in its show anymore. And it wasn't a comedy, it was just a string of profanity. That's what Hoops is, and I cannot recommend anyone check it out. Thank you all very much for watching this. I'm working on a very large BoJack Horseman review at this moment. I'm going through every single episode and taking notes on them, so it's going to be a big one, for sure. And I'll hopefully have that out in the next week or so. I'll have some small stuff out in between. If you like what you saw here today, I have some other videos, some other reviews you could check out here. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.